draft here. How exciting of a moment, and obviously for your family and stuff. Let's talk about your parents. When you were drafted, what was their reaction? How proud were they?
This was before social media.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Yeah, at Florida State, I actually started my junior year, and I got benched my junior. So my senior year, I only started one game. My best friend, my challenge, my rival was Casey Weldon. We were the number one team in the country, got beat at the very end. He was the runner-up to the Heisman. We had Charlie Ward, who was behind me. He ended up winning the Heisman, a national championship, and Chris Winkie won a Heisman national championship. They were behind me. And so I didn't really play. I got invited to the combines, which is unique. There's only 20 quarterbacks that get invited to the combine. I got in there, and I thought I was the top quarterback coming out, to be honest with you. I thought I was better than all of them. I just didn't have any playing experience.
Yeah.
And so I thought the New York Giants were going to draft me. They said they want a big guy. They had, and someone they could groom. They had a guy named Phil Simms and Jeff Hostetler. And so they wanted a young guy. So they ended up drafting Kent Graham out of Ohio State in the 4th round. And then at that point, I'm like, that was the only team that had really worked me out. And so I had a friend of mine who actually worked for the Atlanta Falcons. He called me in the 8th round and said, Brad, if you don't get 12 rounds at that time, if you don't get picked up, we want you to come as a free agent. And I said, his name was Campo. I said, Campo, if I don't get drafted, I'm not coming. I'm going back home to Black Mountain. I'm going to be a school teacher. I'm calling it, man. I didn't know how free agency at that time worked, how the draft worked.
Yeah.
Well, the 9th round, we're sitting in my dorm. It's just me and my dad. The draft was 3 days. It was Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Sunday afternoon, the 9th round, and I'm laying on the couch. I'm tired of looking at the ticker come across. Paul Tagliabue announcing the names, and so my dad goes, yeah. And I go, what? He says, I think I just saw your name come across the ticker. And so we had to wait like 3 more minutes. He said, Florida State, 227th pick. And so it's just me and my dad laying on the dorm floor there at Florida State. And then I got a call about 5 minutes later from Denny Green, the head coach. The guy that had actually that drafted me under Denny Green was the offensive coordinator, Jack Burns. He was when we first met, he was recruiting me out of the University of Louisville from Black Mountain, where I grew up. So he kind of kept up with my career. He knew I didn't play much in college. He knew I was raw, had a lot of potential, knew I played basketball, and was someone that they could groom that would take a couple years because I just didn't have much college experience. So I'm thankful for Denny Green and Jack Burns for drafting me.
When you think about that moment, you're just telling me your story, you sitting down in your college dorm with your dad, like how special are those moments, those that locked in your memory bank and you just replay them in your head. Like how special are those moments with your pops?
Yeah, my dad, he's my best friend, and he was my first coach, and teach me how to hold a baseball bat and shoot a basketball, and
Is your dad still around?
Yeah, my dad's still living. Yeah, and he's cheering on his grandkids, Max and Jake, and he's at all my ball games. And even though I'm coaching now in high school, he's still the first one there at the games. At 7:30, he's at 5 o'clock waiting for us to come out. So my dad was instrumental in my whole career. He's always there for me, whether good or whatever took place. But my biggest fan, but he coached a lot of my teams in youth sports and middle school, and was always there at all my high school games to, cheer me on but critique me at the same time. And my dad always told me, he said 2 things to me that were very important in my career. Was one, it's better to be prepared and not have an opportunity than to have an opportunity and not be prepared. So you got to be ready for your moment. You never know when your moment's coming. So
I mean, I love those stories you're saying about your dad, and that is your best friend. And I'll just give you a quick little rundown why. I don't know if you saw that was nodding my head. My dad just passed away 11 weeks ago, and it was a sudden heart attack. And he was my best friend too. I'm the 44-year-old. I would call my dad 3 times a day. I would call my dad a sick night every night. And and he was a big part of my children's lives. And so, man, I appreciate that. And I love that he's at your games. I love, because people never really understand time as a currency till it's gone. they don't appreciate those moments till they're gone. So I understand, and just by the way you talk and everything you're saying is just obviously you do understand that, you do appreciate that. So man, I love that, and yeah, I'm so happy for you with that, man. So that's incredible.